Earth had been scarred, its ecosystems battered, and its cities left in ruins after years of environmental collapse and geopolitical strife. Yet, despite all that, humanity had not just survived. They had thrived in many ways. The cities that had once crumbled are now teeming with life, bustling markets and vibrant streets, marking the resurgence of human civilization. The air is cleaner, the environment slowly healing, yet in the vast expanse of space, humanity is still small. Earth's strides in space exploration and technological advancements are impressive, but they remain largely unnoticed by the more advanced civilizations in the galaxy. The once isolated planet has begun establishing its presence, with space stations orbiting the Earth and fledgling military fleets exploring the outer reaches. Despite these achievements, Earth's technological power is minuscule compared to the giants of the universe, and their place in the galactic order is tenuous at best. Humanity is seen as a primitive species, overlooked and underestimated by most who have explored the stars. Captain Amelia Black is the leader humanity needs, even if the galaxy doesn't know it yet. A battle-hardened military officer, Amelia is tough, practical, and highly resourceful. She does not fit the typical mold of a hero. Her strength lies in her ability to navigate and survive the harsh realities of intergalactic conflicts. Having led her forces through several skirmishes with vastly superior opponents, Amelia has earned the respect of her team, even if the rest of the galaxy continues to view Earth as a weakling. Her leadership is not based on idealism, but on survival, on using human ingenuity and adaptability to overcome the odds. For Amelia, humanity's greatest asset is not their weapons, but their mind, their ability to innovate and adapt in ways others cannot fathom. She understands what's at stake, and she's determined to make sure Earth's future is shaped by its strength, not its weaknesses. Assassin 6, however, believes humanity is nothing more than an obstacle. An elite agent of the Xylarath, a powerful and ancient alien race, Assassin 6 has been sent on a mission to eliminate Earth's leadership and dismantle the planet's defenses. With her unmatched combat abilities and advanced alien technology, she has never failed a mission. The galaxy knows her name, and the fear of her presence sends a chill down the spine of anyone who has heard the stories of her swift, merciless eliminations. To Assassin 6, Earth is inconsequential, a minor blip on the galactic scale, and she is confident that her superior technology and training will make quick work of this so-called human threat. She has no intention of taking prisoners. Her goal is simple: annihilate and proceed. The thought that humans could stand in her way is laughable, and she has no doubt that her mission will be completed swiftly. As the Xylarath's assassin begins her journey to Earth, the world braces for what feels like an inevitable disaster. The first reports of the Xylarath's plans reach Earth's leaders, and panic starts to spread. The planet's military forces are unprepared for the full scale of the attack. Earth's defense systems, though improved in recent years, are no match for the technological might of the Xylarath, and the impending arrival of Assassin 6 sends ripples of fear through the human race. But even in the face of this overwhelming threat, there is an undercurrent of defiance. Earth's leaders may not be able to stop the Xylarath, but they are not willing to go down without a fight. Captain Amelia Black is tasked with ensuring that Earth's military leadership is protected, but she knows that even her best efforts may not be enough. Still, she refuses to let fear control her. Humanity's resilience will be their weapon, and if it's the last thing she does, Amelia will ensure Earth's survival. In the shadow of the Xylarath's arrival, Earth begins its preparations. The military works tirelessly to ready the defenses, but there's no escaping the reality that their efforts might not be enough. Fear lingers in the air, but beneath it, There is a collective resolve. Humans have always risen above adversity. They've fought wars, rebuilt civilizations, and come back from the brink of extinction time and again. This time will be no different. Amelia's mind is already in overdrive, strategizing the defense of Earth. She knows she cannot match Assassin 6's in power with strength alone, but humanity's adaptability is their greatest asset. Amelia's belief in human ingenuity will be the key to survival, and she begins to formulate a plan, one that may be their only hope. Despite the overwhelming odds, humanity will stand tall, refusing to bow before an alien force that sees them as nothing more than ants underfoot. The final battle may seem inevitable, but the humans will fight with everything they have, proving that they are not to be underestimated. The cold silence of space shattered as Assassin 6's ship cut through Earth's atmosphere, a sleek and deadly force descending upon the planet with a singular mission: eliminate humanity's leadership. The Assassin's craft, a masterpiece of alien technology, glided effortlessly toward Earth, its design sleek, its purpose clear. As the ship touched down, her advanced enhancements and alien technologies made her virtually unstoppable. She was a force of nature, swift and merciless. The human defenses were ill-prepared for such a threat, and any attempt to stop her was futile from the start. The assassin's arrival, flawless and efficient, foreshadowed the lethal mission ahead, Earth's greatest challenge yet. Inside Earth's most secure military facility, the Earth Defense Command, Assassin 6 moved like a shadow unseen by the planet's defenses. Her alien enhancements allowed her to bypass the most advanced security systems effortlessly. Guards posted at every entrance were no match for her. Each step she took was calculated, her cold, clinical approach to eliminating anyone in her way, setting the stage for what would soon unfold as a chilling game of predator and prey. With every silent kill, she moved closer to her ultimate goal: the eradication of Earth's fragile leadership, a move that would leave humanity exposed and vulnerable, unable to mount any meaningful resistance. Her precision was unmatched, and humanity had no answer for her. Meanwhile, as the assassin's onslaught began, Earth's military was scrambling. Soldiers took their stands, but the realization of their impending doom hit them hard. Each attempt to stop Assassin 6 was met with swift and brutal defeat. Her alien technology outclassed anything the humans could muster. Energy weapons fired, tanks rolled into position, but none of it mattered. The soldiers, despite their bravery, were powerless against an enemy they couldn't comprehend. The atmosphere thickened with the weight of defeat, but they pressed on, fighting not out of hope but out of sheer will. Earth's resistance was driven by courage, but that courage was waning, replaced by the cold realization that humanity's survival was slipping away with every passing moment. Captain Amelia Black stood firm in the command center, the weight of the world on her shoulders. Watching as Earth's defenses crumbled, she knew that brute force was not the answer. Her mind raced, formulating a plan, one that relied not on strength, but on humanity's greatest asset, adaptability. In that moment, she knew her role would not be to defeat Assassin 6 in battle, but to outwit her. Amelia understood human nature, its creativity, and the unyielding will to survive. If they were to have any hope of overcoming this threat, it would be through outsmarting the alien assassin, making the environment their ally, and using everything Earth had at its disposal to turn the tide. The odds were stacked against them, but Amelia refused to concede. She was prepared to risk it all. Amelia began to gather her team, sharing the unconventional plan she had crafted, a plan that would leverage Earth's terrain and its resources to turn the tables. Her team was skeptical at first. No one had ever defeated an assassin of Assassin 6's caliber before, but Amelia's unwavering confidence ignited something in them. Her strategic genius and emotional strength gave them hope, and despite the impossible nature of the task, they rallied to her side. With each member of the team embracing their role, the plan began to take shape. The clock was ticking and the pressure was building, but they knew this would be their last stand. If they failed now, Earth's future would be sealed. The battle, however, proved to be far more challenging than anyone anticipated. Amelia's carefully laid plans began to unfold, but Assassin 6 was relentless. Her alien enhancements allowed her to adapt to the human strategies almost as fast as they were devised. Every step forward seemed to push humanity closer to the brink of destruction. The assassin was always one move ahead. As the tension mounted, Amelia's frustration grew. Despite the ingenuity of her tactics, Assassin 6 countered them with chilling efficiency. The human forces, despite their resolve, were being worn down. Each failure to subdue the assassin deepened the fear that Earth's leadership was lost. Desperation set in as the assassin relentlessly advanced, leaving devastation in her wake. Time was running out, and Amelia's team was beginning to crumble under the weight of the seemingly insurmountable odds. Amelia stood at the center of it all, her resolve starting to crack. The human forces were being pushed back, their once strong resistance faltering. She had devised plan after plan, but each one had been thwarted. The assassin was too strong, too fast, too precise. Her confidence had grown. Each failed attempt to stop her pushed humanity closer to the edge. Amelia knew she had only one option left: make a final, desperate gamble. Should she abandon her plan and take a risk, or should she continue to trust in humanity's ingenuity, even if it meant a fight they couldn't possibly win? The weight of the decision rested on her shoulders. Her heart pounded in her chest as she weighed the consequences. But in the end, she knew the only option was to trust in human resilience. With the assassin closing in on her target, Amelia launched her final strategy. It was a high-risk move, a desperate attempt to trap Assassin 6 in a way that her superior technology could not counter. It would be a gamble, but Amelia had no choice. The fate of the planet rested on this one last chance. As the plan began to unfold, the atmosphere was thick with suspense. Every move felt like it could be their last. Would it work, or would humanity's fight be in vain? The tension was unbearable, but Amelia remained resolute, her mind focused on the mission. With one final move, she initiated the trap, hoping that her faith in human ingenuity would be enough to turn the tide. The moment of truth had arrived. The relentless hum of Earth's defense systems echoed through the command center as Captain Amelia Black stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the monitors displaying the alien assassin's progress. Assassin 6, the perfect weapon, was nearing her goal, Earth's fragile leadership, and Amelia knew that this would be humanity's defining moment. Earth's defenses, vast in ambition but limited in resources, stood no chance against an adversary who could outthink, outfight, and outmaneuver them at every turn. Yet as Amelia looked over the situation, something stirred in her. A quiet, flickering belief that the key to surviving this wasn't in sheer firepower, but in humanity's adaptability, their innate ability to think differently when cornered. Assassin 6 moved through Earth's military base like a shadow, bypassing guards with inhuman precision. Her steps were silent, but every human soldier she encountered was dealt with in an instant. Her confidence in her mission was palpable. Earth in her mind was already lost. Its leadership would be eradicated, its resistance extinguished. Yet as she continued through the corridors, she found something unsettling, a hint of unpredictability, the human forces not merely throwing themselves at her in blind attempts to fight, but setting up traps, using their environment against her in ways she hadn't anticipated. The assassin was a model of perfection, but this was something different. Each trap set by the human forces forced Assassin 6 to pause, reconsider her approach. The soldiers were no longer simply pawns to be swatted aside. They were thinkers, creators, a makeshift barricade, a shifting hallway, a sudden misstep. Each made the assassin falter for a moment. That moment, that spark of ingenuity, was enough. It wasn't much, but it was something. Amelia watched from the command center, a smirk tugging at her lips. The assassin was realizing what humanity had known for centuries. Technology alone couldn't win every fight. It was the human mind, erratic and inventive, that could turn the tide. The tension in the command center was palpable as Amelia gathered her team. She was no longer just a military commander. She was the only person standing between Earth and annihilation. Her mind raced through tactical possibilities, each more desperate than the last. Humanity had no superior technology to rely on, no fleet of ships to overwhelm the assassin. They only had their wits. It was an unorthodox approach, risky, but Amelia had no other choice. She outlined her plan to her commanders, each one skeptical, but inspired by her unwavering resolve. If they could make the environment their ally, they might just stand a chance, but Amelia knew that even the best-laid plans could be crushed in an instant. Her team was divided. Some of her commanders advocated for an all-out assault, believing that any other strategy was a futile waste of time. But Amelia, with a rare calm, rejected the idea. This wasn't a battle of strength. It was a battle of minds. Her instincts screamed that humanity's only hope lay in their adaptability, in thinking outside the box, in playing a game the assassin wasn't ready for. The battle was never about defeating Assassin 6 through strength. It was about surviving long enough to prove that Earth was not the weak, insignificant planet so many believed it to be. As the hours wore on, frustration began to mount. Amelia's strategy was sound, but the assassin's progress was steady, relentless. Every move Amelia made to outsmart her, Assassin 6 countered with eerie precision. Her mind raced through the endless possibilities, but each time it felt like the assassin was always one step ahead. The human forces, no matter how brave, were running out of time. The sense of powerlessness started to creep in. They had no choice but to keep pushing forward, to keep adapting. But as Amelia paced the command center, it was clear that desperation was becoming her only ally. Amelia knew the stakes. She understood the gravity of the situation. The fate of Earth's leadership rested in her hands, but it wasn't just about defeating the assassin anymore. The bigger question loomed larger. Could she outsmart someone who had been bred for perfection? Every instinct told her to prepare for the worst, but her belief in human resilience gave her pause. Humanity had faced challenges greater than this before, and they had never backed down. Amelia's own internal struggle intensified. She knew the cost of failure, but she also knew that if they could just hold on, if they could keep pushing back against the odds, they might survive. This fight was not only for Earth's future, it was for humanity's place in the universe. As Assassin 6 closed in on her final target, Amelia made the call. She would gamble it all. The time had come to make the ultimate move, one that would either seal their fate or turn the tables completely. Her plan had been set into motion, but now it had to be pushed to its limit. The assassin's confidence had grown with every kill, but Amelia's resolve was now the one thing standing between Earth and its destruction. The question wasn't whether they could defeat her. The question was whether they could survive long, enough to prove they belonged in the stars. The final showdown was inevitable. The assassin was almost at her target, and Earth's fate hung by a thread. Amelia's thoughts flashed through the moments of humanity's greatest triumphs, of the times when against all odds, humans had risen from the ashes. With her heart pounding, she issued the order, and the final gamble began. The assassin's perfection was about to meet the chaotic brilliance of human ingenuity. The quiet hum of the command center was broken by the deafening roar of alarms as Earth's greatest threat approached. Amelia Black stood at the helm, her gaze fixed on the security feed. Assassin 6, a being of alien perfection, was moving closer, her enhanced body effortlessly cutting through Earth's defenses. The assassin was the perfect killer, a harbinger of death sent by the Zorath, and now she was within striking distance of humanity's leadership. Amelia felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders as her heart pounded in her chest. This was the moment that would decide Earth's fate. As the assassin's footfalls echoed through the halls, Amelia watched the carnage unfold in real time. Soldiers fell one by one, their resistance meaningless against the advanced alien technology that powered Assassin 6's every move. Earth's military forces, once strong and proud, were no match for the assassin's cold, calculated efficiency. Her speed was unmatched, her precision deadly. But it wasn't the assassin's physical superiority that Amelia was focused on. It was the environment, the one thing that could give humanity a fighting chance. Amelia knew that sheer strength would never be enough. The assassin's speed, strength, and advanced weaponry would overwhelm any traditional defense. But human ingenuity, the unpredictable creative spark that had driven humanity to survive and adapt time and again, was a different story. Amelia's mind raced through every strategy, every trick she'd ever learned in battle. This fight wasn't about overpowering the enemy, it was about using what Earth had that the assassin couldn't anticipate. She had to outsmart her. The clash between them escalated quickly. The assassin was a living weapon, her enhanced reflexes, her alien weapons, everything about her screamed superiority. And yet, Amelia moved with purpose, each step calculated, each decision made with a deadly determination to turn the tide. She used every corner, every hallway, every ounce of Earth's resources to her advantage. A burst of fire, a makeshift barricade, a sudden diversion. Each move forced the assassin to pause, recalibrate, and question her invincibility. For the first time, Assassin 6 hesitated. She wasn't used to being outwitted, especially by a species she considered beneath her. The frustration in the assassin's movements was palpable. She had underestimated humanity. Amelia knew that. The assassin's perfection came with a critical flaw. She wasn't prepared for the erratic brilliance of human tactics. Amelia wasn't fighting with strength. She was fighting with cunning. And as the battle raged on, the assassin began to falter, her calculated efficiency slipping as she faced a threat she had not prepared for. Amelia's mind was sharp, every plan executed with an unyielding precision. The fight was far from over, but the tide had shifted. Meanwhile, tension grew among Amelia's team. Some commanders argued for a direct confrontation, an all-out assault that could overwhelm the assassin's forces. But Amelia disagreed. The odds were stacked against them. Human strength alone would never win this fight. Amelia knew they had to fight smarter, not harder, but her team wasn't fully convinced. The growing dissent weighed heavily on her, the pressure of command bearing down on her like never before. Each commander had their own ideas, their own beliefs about what the right path forward should be. The clock was ticking. Every second spent debating was a second closer to defeat. The battle was taking its toll. Amelia could feel the frustration building. Every calculated move she made to outsmart the assassin was met with resistance. Her team's divided loyalties, the pressure of her command, and the unstoppable force of Assassin 6's enhancements were slowly grinding her down. Yet amidst the chaos, Amelia held firm. She had to lead. She had to make them believe that they could win, because in the face of annihilation, that belief was all they had left. But as the hours dragged on and their plans continued to fail, Amelia began to doubt herself. Was her strategy too risky? Was she placing too much faith in the unpredictability of human ingenuity? Her mind raced, but there was no time for hesitation. Then, as the assassin closed in on her final target, Amelia saw it. A small flaw in the assassin's armor, something only a human would think of, something that had been overlooked by her, alien perfection. In that instant, Amelia knew what had to be done. This was the breakthrough they needed. But it wasn't going to be easy. The gamble she was about to take could either save Earth or doom them all. With her heart pounding in her chest, Amelia prepared to act. She used the environment around her, Earth's crumbling infrastructure, the very things the assassin thought would be her downfall, to set the trap. The assassin, overconfident in her superior technology, stepped right into it. For a moment, everything stood still. Amelia's mind raced, each move flashing before her eyes as the trap was sprung. The assassin's advanced weapons and enhancements began to malfunction, her precision faltering as Earth's environment fought back. The battle was no longer about strength. It was about brains. Amelia's gamble had worked. Human ingenuity had turned the tables, but it wasn't over yet. The assassin was trapped, struggling to regain control, but Amelia knew that this was their chance. She could feel the weight of every decision she'd made leading up to this moment. This was humanity's fight, and they would win, not through strength, but through creativity. As the assassin scrambled to adapt, Amelia took her final shot. The trap, carefully set and patiently executed, had worked. The assassin, caught in the web of her own arrogance, underestimated the sheer unpredictability of humanity's will to survive. The blow was delivered not with brute force, but with the brilliance of human intelligence. The assassin fell, defeated by the very thing she had discounted, human ingenuity. Amelia stood over her victorious, but the cost was clear. Earth's future had been secured, but only by pushing human creativity and adaptability to their absolute limits. The immediate threat was gone. Earth had won, but Amelia knew that the real challenge lay ahead, rebuilding, adapting, and maintaining the strength that had brought humanity to this moment. The fight against the Zorath assassin was over, but the battle for Earth's place in the universe had just begun. The world, in that moment, breathed a collective sigh of relief. But as the dust settled, the lesson was clear. Humanity, despite all odds, had proven that they were not to be underestimated. They had stood up to an alien assassin, and not only survived but triumphed. And now, with the galaxy watching, Earth's future was theirs to shape. The battlefield had fallen silent, the last echoes of destruction fading into a heavy, oppressive stillness. The Earth, battered and bruised, had won. But at what cost? In the aftermath of the battle, the exhilaration of victory felt hollow, replaced by a deep, unshakable grief. The Earth military and civilians alike now found themselves in a quiet, mourning for the many lives lost. The streets, once filled with the sounds of celebration, now seemed to reflect the somber reality of what had been endured. Victory had come, but it was a victory marked by sacrifice. Amelia stood alone, gazing out at the city's skyline, her mind weighed down by the aftermath. She had led humanity through its most dire hour, and yet she felt the burden of it all more than anyone. The war had been brutal, and as the gravity of the situation settled over her, she understood that this was no ordinary victory. Earth was no longer the quiet, isolated world it had once been. The victory over Assassin 6 was a turning point, one that would forever change humanity's place in the galaxy. For the first time in its history, Earth stood shoulder to shoulder with the most powerful civilizations in the cosmos. The universe had learned of humanity's strength, of its adaptability, and its refusal to yield to even the greatest of threats. But along with this newfound strength came the undeniable truth. Earth could no longer afford to remain in the shadows. Humanity's innocence was gone. The galaxy would now watch, waiting to see how Earth would navigate its newfound position. The hum of the command center was all that broke the silence as Amelia gathered her team. Each member was weary, their faces showing the toll the battle had taken. It was a moment for reflection, a moment for them to process what they had learned, not just about their enemies, but about themselves. The lessons of the war echoed in every word they spoke. Human ingenuity had proven itself to be their greatest asset. Their unity had been the key to surviving when everything else had seemed impossible. But the harsh realities of galactic politics were never far from Amelia's thoughts. She had seen it firsthand, the brutal nature of a universe where strength was the only true currency. As the galaxy turned its eyes toward Earth, there was a palpable sense of change. The defeat of Assassin 6 had reverberated across the stars, sending ripples of shock and awe through every corner of the cosmos. What had once been dismissed as a primitive species was now recognized as a formidable force, one capable of shaking the foundations of the galaxy's power structure. The Zorath Union's defeat at the hands of humanity had left a scar on their reputation, one that would not easily fade. Other species, once dismissive of humans, now regarded Earth with newfound respect. But with this respect came the realization that Earth's place in the galaxy was no longer secure in its own right. Humanity had earned its reputation, but maintaining it would be far from simple. The scars of war were still fresh. The future of Earth lay in the balance, and the road ahead would be paved with uncertainty. Amelia knew that humanity had much to prove, and the price of their victory would continue to weigh heavily on their future. Despite the triumph, humanity's victory had come at an extraordinary cost. The loss of so many, both soldiers and civilians alike, could never be fully reconciled. Yet, as Earth's influence grew, it was impossible to deny the undeniable. Humanity had earned its place in the stars. The galaxy had witnessed a species rise from obscurity, not by brute force, but by wit, resilience, and adaptability. Amelia couldn't help but feel a small flicker of hope ignite deep within her. Humanity had proven itself to be more than just survivors. They were players on a galactic stage. The ultimate legacy of the battle against Assassin 6, however, was not just in the military victory, but in what it represented. The galaxy had seen the potential in humanity, and as Earth began to rebuild, this new chapter promised more than just survival. The story of their triumph, the defeat of an unbeatable assassin, would echo across the stars for generations. It would serve as a reminder to all that humanity, despite its small and humble beginnings, could face the greatest of threats and emerge victorious, not with strength alone, but with the strength of its creativity, its ability to adapt, and its unyielding resolve. As Earth's future unfolded before her, Amelia knew one thing for certain: the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. The galaxy was vast, and humanity's place in it was still uncertain. But humanity's legacy had been secured, not by force, but by ingenuity and resilience. No longer would they be dismissed or underestimated. The galaxy would remember their name, and humanity's story was just beginning. The cheers echo across Earth's shattered cities, a cacophony of triumph, ringing through the air. Yet beneath the celebration lies the heavy weight of loss. Victory has been won, but at a tremendous cost. The planet, scarred by the brutal war, stands amidst the wreckage, ruins that once held homes, industries, lives. Humanity's fight for survival has turned them into a formidable force, but the toll it has taken on them is undeniable. The streets bustle with people trying to rebuild, yet the air is thick with uncertainty. There are no easy answers. The path forward is long, and the scars from the battle will linger for generations. Amid the applause, Captain Amelia Black stands alone, her thoughts far from the celebrations. She has witnessed the destruction firsthand. The war, though won, has left its mark. Yet there is hope, a glimmer that refuses to be snuffed out. Unity, forged through the fires of war, now becomes humanity's foundation for the future. The victory may have been hard-earned, but it signals a new era. Humanity has proven itself, but the road to rebuilding is long, and it is one Amelia knows will require every ounce of their resilience. Standing at the forefront of this new age, Amelia's eyes, once filled with fire and determination, now reflect the weight of leadership. She has seen her people suffer, watched them struggle, but in the midst of that struggle, they've shown a strength she never imagined. The fight against the Zorath assassin was only the beginning. The universe had seen humanity's true power, not just their might, but their ability to adapt, to think on their feet when facing impossible odds. She knows the road ahead will be fraught with challenges, but she believes in humanity's potential. It is not enough to rest on their laurels. Earth's survival depends on more than just brute force. It depends on innovation, on creativity, on the unyielding spirit that has carried them this far. Amelia doesn't look back, she looks ahead. The galaxy is vast, and humanity has just begun to chart its course among the stars. Earth, once a solitary speck in the vast universe, now stands tall. Humanity has risen from the ashes of conflict, a newfound force to be reckoned with in a galaxy. But with this newfound strength comes a responsibility to prove that humanity belongs not just through its military might, but through its ingenuity, diplomacy, and the values that have shaped their world. The victory over the assassin, while monumental, has only opened the door to a new chapter, a chapter that will test humanity in ways they've never imagined. The war has changed them. It has forced them to confront the harsh realities of galactic politics, to understand that survival in this vast universe will require more than just courage. It will require unity. It will require adaptation. And with this knowledge, humanity steps forward, knowing that they will never again be dismissed, never again be underestimated. The war is over, but the road ahead is filled with the unknown. As Amelia gazes out at the stars, she feels a mixture of awe and trepidation. The universe is vast, teeming with life and opportunity, but also dangers that humanity has yet to face. The victory has proven humanity's strength, but it has also drawn the attention of both allies and adversaries. The galaxy is watching. What will they do next? Will humanity continue to thrive, or will the vastness of space swallow them whole? The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Earth has shown that it can rise, adapt, and survive against all odds. The galaxy now knows that humanity is not to be trifled with. The triumph over the Zorath assassin was only the beginning. The real test lies ahead, one that will see humanity's true potential pushed to its limits. New alliances will be formed, but with them will come new threats, new challenges. The promise of the cosmos is tantalizing, but it is not without its risks. The same creativity and resilience that allowed humanity to defeat an unbeatable foe will be tested again, but this time on a cosmic scale. Ilara, standing beside Amelia, shares her thoughts. The stars are full of wonders, but they're also full of dangers. What we've done is only the beginning. The real challenge is making sure we're ready for whatever comes next. Amelia nods, her gaze still fixed on the stars. The future is uncertain, yes, but humanity's spirit has never been stronger. They have faced the unimaginable and emerged victorious. The universe is vast, but humanity will rise to meet it, no matter the challenges that lie ahead. And with each step, humanity will prove that it belongs among the stars.